Or yo, I heard this other story that came out this week about Megan Thee Stallion. All right, she has a new documentary that came out, in her own words, it's called, on Amazon, and it's so crazy because the whole situation that went on with Megan and Tory Lanez, where he shot her in the foot, leg, whatever it was. It's been a whole story going on. There's been a big beef between, her camp, his camp. He's in jail now, and this whole big back and forth, whatever. So that went down. So her new documentary came out now. It's doing very well. And within this documentary, she actually admitted that she actually slept with Tory Lanez. And everybody was like, oh my God. Yo, a lot of people was probably thinking about that, right? Like, oh, did they have, what kind of relationship they had? Like, because no one really knew about their relationship or how it all really went down, right? She said he shot her and he's in jail and that's what it is. So she actually did an interview with Gayle King. And I think it was on CBS this morning, and it was back in 2022.
Yep.
And Gayle asked her, I guess, did you guys have a relationship? Or I don't know if she came point blank, did you sleep with him? And at that time, Megan said, no, they don't have any relationship. They didn't sleep together, nothing like that. Just come to find out now in this new documentary that she admitted that she did sleep with Tory Lanez. So now the whole thing is coming out. Everyone is up in a roar because they're saying if she lied about that, then what else did she lie about? So Tory Lanez attorneys is saying just that. She lied about that. Then what else is she lying about? This puts her whole character in question. So there's some new, so they're trying to do some new cases and stories. They're going to come out and try to see if they can maybe get him out because of this new revelation, right? So we'll see what happens in this whole lawsuit that's ongoing right now. So I guess my question to you is, do you think that number one, well, no, that's not the question. The better question is, just because she lied about this, and she admitted it now, right? What difference does that make, or does it make a difference to you in terms of her saying that Tory shot her in the leg? Does that make you believe her, or that story about Tory shooting her in the foot, any less believable because she lied about not sleeping with Tory Lanez?
Wow. So
it doesn't matter.
So I think in the court, I think in the mind, like the minds, or was it the court of public opinion?
Yeah.
In the court of public opinion, it does matter. In the court of legal ease, if you will, it does not. Because I guess I heard, despite the fact that she lied in the interview, she did testify to it in court. So she didn't lie while she was on the stand.
Okay.
That she did own up to that, but we didn't hear that, right? You know, because that took place in court. Okay. So I guess
so she did admit to it in court.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Okay. That she did. Okay. So despite the fact that she lied to Gayle. Okay. In that interview, so that's why I said that in the court of public opinion, not so good. It's not a good look. But she did own up to it in court. They were talking to Gayle, like, some folks from TMZ caught up with, those impromptu, and Gayle says she ain't got no problem with this. Gayle is the consummate professional. She has been interviewing people for decades. She probably done heard a whole lot of bullshit.
Wow, right, you know what I mean? Right, yeah.
And I think if Gayle, if Gayle was probably in a truthful space, she probably would have said something like, I don't give a shit about what Megan said. Like, people have lied to me before. But yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I'll tell you this much though. I wondered, and I feel bad for wondering whether or not it really happened.
The shooting.
Yeah. Like there was a shooting. It just seemed.
Why? Why are you wondering that? Like, why do you?
It just seemed like there was, for whatever reason, I think when I think back to it, it just seemed like it was just this multiple story, this slow drip of what happened, even with the people involved. And then the witnesses, it was like to hear the witnesses, the people that were there, talk about what they saw. They might as well be looking at abstract art, because I swear it seems like everybody saw something different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, it was crazy. So it just, I just kind of wondered, like, yo, did it happen? I felt like sometimes I felt like there was this kind of, I ain't snitching, and it was like kind of like some code. Let me tell you, man, I get the whole snitching thing when people want to talk about it, but that also to me is a street code. I think some people try to live by this code, but they ain't in that life.
Right.
So somebody asks you what happened, tell them what happened. Right. So who are we talking? You ain't in the mob. You ain't banging. Right. We're squares, man. You know what I mean? You got a regular job, right? You make music. Like, stop, right? So, but whatever. I know that is not a popular opinion, but I don't know.
That's not an opinion. It's just a question that you have that's in your head.
Right. Here's what I will say. I hope he's guilty. I hope he's guilty. I hope it's all true, and I hope he's guilty. I would rather him be guilty and be where he is than
not be guilty and be where he is.
Right, being an innocent man sitting in prison.
Yeah, because I don't see what would be the purpose for her lying. So clearly they had some type of relationship, whether they didn't have to be boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe they just had sex and they were sleeping together or whatever. But I just don't see the purpose of her lying unless they got in some kind of fight. And I feel like if he really was going to shoot her, I mean, I don't know. Why would he shoot her in the foot? I mean, and what would be the purpose? Was he trying to? Clearly, he wasn't trying to kill her. I don't know. No. I just don't see. I don't know. Listen, we know you and I we've been in a situation with women we've probably been dating, and maybe there was a fight or something, and they said things that weren't true. So I could see it. It's possible, but I think if you go to the point where you say that someone actually shot you in the foot and you lied about that's kind of taking it to another level that I can't really see.
Like Tory he's fighting like an innocent person, right? Like we've seen
Diddy.
We've seen a lot of people
everyone.
Get arrested and but after a while they seem like they kind of settle in. Right? And it's like, they often say that that's a sign of a guilty person, right? But
once they start settling in?
They kind of settle in because in their heart of hearts, they know that what they did, they did what they said they did.
Like, all right.
Right. You got me. Right, exactly. They settle in, let me do the time, whatever. It's usually that innocent person that it takes a much longer time for that to happen. There's always kind of like this fighting. Listen, at some point, you just have to do the time, otherwise you'll go crazy.
Yeah.
So even innocent people have to own up to that. But if optics matter, in this case, Tory sure does move like somebody that's innocent. He's trying to get his behind out of there.
Yeah.
So whatever that's worth. I mean, I don't know what it means if anything at all. But just as a FYI, it's like maybe there's something there.
Maybe there is something there, and I feel bad because I know there's been plenty of times in my life where things have seemed to go a certain way and people have lied about me, but I will stick to my guns. And if he is innocent, yeah, keep fighting, keep clearing your name. Unfortunately, if you have to be in jail and you have to be in jail, okay, do what you got to do, unfortunately, because you're there. But keep fighting for your innocence. And I'm sure as attorneys, that's what they're still fighting for. So when they can get anything like this, when they find out she now admitted to lying, that that's a big thing that they're going to jump on and try to see if they can get the public's opinion at least back in his favor. Because I think the public's opinion, it really does have a lot to say, even legally speaking, as we can see with these Menendez brothers. Like if the public is behind you, that can have some kind of effect on the legal system, because they may very well get out. So the same thing in this case. Yeah, listen, keep fighting for your innocence. And listen, if he is innocent, we'll see. I mean, she's still sticking to her story. She's saying, no, he did shoot me. So,
yeah, the problem with him is unless he gets some new evidence, there's no reason to reopen that case because right where it stands now, it looks like he's just saying the same thing that he was saying before. He's been saying. Right. When he got convicted with that same information in the first place.
Right.
Right. But I don't know. So when I was saying before where there was this kind of wall of silence, trying to keep it real and all that old shit. Well, then stand on that. Right. Don't get up in there like, man, this cell's smaller than what I thought it was, bro. Yeah, I'll talk. Wait before you close that door, right? Like, nah, man. Like, no, keep it 100, right? So I don't know. Like I said, I hope that it's true only because he's doing the time. It breaks my heart at the idea that an innocent man would be in there, right?
But let me ask you this: in the interview, why do you think that some women would not be honest about sleeping with men? And in her case, why do you think she may have lied to Gayle about sleeping with Tory? Like, if you did, you did. If they're dating, you're dating. It's like, what's the big deal? Why do you think she lied about that?
Jay asking the tough questions, man.
Oh, that's what I do. That's what I do.
I think there was maybe looking for public sympathy, and maybe it looks better in a interview with Gayle King if you come across as someone that wasn't intimately involved with him. Maybe you was still at some point, because remember that she felt, she came out with some statements to where she felt vindicated, right? Because there were a lot of folks that did not believe her. They said that she was lying. Now, I don't know what the genesis of that came from, but that was the case, right? That a lot of folks did not believe her.
Was it? You think maybe it was his fans that felt like that, or?
I think it was more than his. In my opinion, I think it was more than his fans. I think what I was saying before, it just seemed like the way the information came out.
Yeah, it was
right.
Shady.
Like, so I think he kind of, maybe at one point, it seemed like maybe he kind of owned the narrative, and I think he also had support from one of the so-called witnesses. Was kind of agreeing with him, and then that person changed. It was just muddy. It was muddy as hell. But I think that there was this kind of vibe that he was telling the truth and she wasn't. So maybe, to your question, maybe that was an attempt to, I don't know, to kind of parlay some sympathy on her part. And that maybe the thinking was that the public would view her differently if they knew that she was in this sexual relationship with him.
That they might more believe him because of that, which is, I hear it just... Yeah.
Listen, I didn't say it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I know.
I didn't say it makes sense because otherwise it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense, right? Because whether you were sleeping with him or not sleeping with him, you didn't deserve to be shot.
Right? Of course.
Right? Even if it was accidentally, right? As it was, kind of like shooting on the ground, like dance, jump,
right?
That kind of thing, and it hit her. Yeah. But so I'm not sure, other than the fact that you were maybe looking for, as I said, some sort of public support, public sympathy, trying to change the narrative and bring people onto your side. So you sit there in a Gayle King,
And I think generally speaking, just women in general, they don't think they like to admit that they sleep with men unless that is their boyfriend or their husband. I don't think they generally like to say like, oh yeah, he smashed. Well, they just don't want to. It just doesn't look good. It's not very ladylike in their mind.
But do you think that people didn't think they were together?
I mean,
I think that's why I thought that's why it was so. It seemed odd that they weren't sleeping when she said that they weren't sleeping together because I think we just all viewed them as a couple.
Right. So why that's why it was very weird when she never said that she did sleep with him, because we're like, how could you not? Y'all were at least seeing each other at the very least.
Right.
So that's what people who see each other usually do. They usually have sex. So there's nothing wrong with owning it.
Right. And that. So you hear her saying that she didn't have relations with him.
Yeah.
And then academics, remember, he had that whole clip and him talking about her and how some very unflattering things about her and her sexual proclivities and prowess.
Yes.
I was just like, wow.
You're like, damn.
Yeah, like I thought academics was going to get canceled behind that one.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, he was really saying. But listen, maybe there was something to it because there was no blowback or anything from it, not even from her camp. So maybe there was something there to it.
Yeah,
so.
and ladies, ain't nothing wrong with admitting and owning you sleeping with men. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, you could still sleep with men and you could still get shot in the foot. It can still happen. Both can happen. Both can be true. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Own it. Speak your truth, women. Speak your truth. So listen, at the end of the day, I just hope it all works out for both of them. And yeah, it's not a big deal. You can lie. I'm glad that she owned up to it and she admitted it. And it's not a big deal. It still probably could have happened. No ill will towards her. Not on my end.
Not on mine either. Not on mine.